Don't you just love Pokemon? I absolutely love Pokemon, and I am going to explain why in just a minute here. But before I get into it, if you like giveaways, or if you like Pokemon, or if you like giveaways and Pokemon, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. I failed last Sunday. I was supposed to pull a gold card from a case of Pikachu VMAX boxes from the new release in Crown Zenith, and I failed. Originally, I was supposed to pull one, or I wasn't. It doesn't matter. I failed. I lost. And because I lost, I have to give away an entire case of Pikachu VMAX collection boxes to one of you. So without further ado, congratulations to Collector Vault. You are the proud new owner of an entire case that is 6 Pikachu VMAX boxes. I just need you to shoot me your information. You can find me on Instagram at Danny.Phantump, on Twitter at Danny__O, or just shoot me an email, DannyPhantumpContent@gmail.com. Giveaways are fun. We are really close to 93,000 subscribers, and then we're going to give away something even more special until we get every 1,000 subscribers until we get to 100K, and then it's like a vintage box break, $15,000 worth of value that we're just giving away for free. It's going to be absolutely amazing. So make sure to hit that subscribe button down below, leave a like, leave a comment, share the channel. It goes a really long way for the algorithm. Thank you so much. But why I love Pokemon is because it is just so much fun. The Oceania, if you've never played, first of all, if you've never played the competitive Pokemon game before, you need to at least check it out. Either download PTCGO, which is twilighting, so you might as well just get PTCG live, or go to a local league. It is an absolute blast. I guarantee you, you are going to love it. The Oceania International Tournament in Australia was this past weekend, and it was absolutely amazing. The matches were so fun to watch. I stayed up way too late cheering on different players. For those of you who don't know, I manage a team of competitive players that is represented by CGC Grading. 2 of those team members made the trip out there. One of them is Caleb Gedimer. The other one is Azul Garcia Grigo, both very good friends of mine. Congratulations, Azul, on winning your 2nd international championship in the past year. Absolutely stunning. That guy is the GOAT. He is so good. Such a great guy. I also want to give a shout out to Remy for taking home the junior TCG crown. Remy, it has been a long time coming, my friend. You and your dad, you have worked so hard for this. So congratulations to both of you. It is so much fun, guys. I highly recommend checking out. It's an absolute blast. With that being said, we're going to jump into today's topic, which is Rainbow Rares, Hyper Rares, Secret, whatever you want to call them. The Rainbow cards that were originally introduced in Sun and Moon and were kind of a cool mechanic, variant, different rarity that Pokemon produced. And it didn't start out too bad. It started out a little bit smaller, and it started out with much less Pokemon. So Sun and Moon first started introducing these Rainbow Rares, and it was kind of printed throughout the entire Sun and Moon block, but we didn't have V-Stars, V-Max, or Rainbow Rare supporters. Those didn't come until Sword and Shield. So now I want to know what you guys think about Rainbow Rares, and if you're excited, because it seems like Pokemon is no longer going to be producing these. Once we get into Scarlet and Violet, which is coming out at the end of March, March 31st is the release day on Scarlet and Violet, there are no Rainbow Rares in this set. And we noticed that with Crown Zenith, there were no Rainbow Rares in this set. This is the first time, really since Sun and Moon base, that we haven't seen any Rainbow Rares. So I've been getting a lot of questions. Do you think this is a good card to start picking up? Do you think Rainbow Rares are a good card to start investing in? Here's my advice. Collect what you like. Collect what you enjoy. If you like Rainbow Rares, then collect them. Collect certain ones. Collect specific ones. But don't worry and stress out so much about the market. The market is so volatile all the time. It goes up and down like crazy. If you would have asked a lot of these people like SM Pratt, like Charlie Herlocker, like Jake, a lot of these people who are big into Pokemon investing 10 years ago what they thought would be really strong to invest in when it comes to Pokemon, yeah, they could have given you a really good idea, but we had no idea that a giant pandemic was going to hit, that this big surplus of demand was going to hit, that supply was going to have a huge shortage, that there was going to be influencers that were coming into the scene that were going to absolutely upend the market. Nobody could have predicted that. So these swings that you see in Pokemon cards, they happen all the time, but your goal is obviously going to be to always buy when it's lowest, so that way you can take that difference, that marginal difference that you have, and invest that into a different part of your collection that you really enjoy. Collect what you like, collect what you enjoy. There are a lot of Rainbow Rares that I really do like and I really do enjoy, and those are the ones that I focus on trying to find decent deals on, or at least adding to my binder, because I think a lot of Rainbow Rares look really cool. However, once Sword and Shield introduced Rainbow Rare supporters, V-Stars, V-Maxes, it started to get a little bit played out. So my own personal opinion, and I want to know what your guys' opinion on Rainbow Rares are, so please leave a comment down below. My own personal opinion is I wish they would continue Rainbow Rares to an extent. I wish they would pick a couple cards moving forward that they turned into Rainbow Rares, kind of like what they do with gold cards. But I don't want 40 Rainbow Rares in the set. When we started having sets like Chilling Reign, like Brilliant Stars, where you have VMAX cards and V-Star cards and Rainbow Rare supporters and Vs, like it just became too much that was being printed. Too many Rainbow Rares that were being printed. It just got overwhelming. We're going to look at the kind of the most expensive, for the most part, the top 20 most expensive Rainbow Rares that are currently in circulation, so you can get a feel for where they are sitting, and then maybe start going to TCG Player, sort by rarity, look at some of the Rainbow Rares that are relatively cheap or more within your collection budget, even if it's some of these more expensive ones, and if you like the way that they look, pick them up. Don't worry about these 2xing, 3xing, 4xing in price, because that's not necessarily what typically happens with Pokemon. It's trying to find them when they're at their cheapest, so that way you can use that collection money that you saved to kind of grow your collection in other ways. So I'm going to flip you guys around so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. I do think that there's been so many Rainbow Rares that have been printed, and a lot of people are kind of sick of them, so I don't expect giant surpluses and increases when it comes to the actual market values on a lot of these cards. But starting off with the Charizard GX, this is a very, very popular card from Burning Shadows. This is what a lot of people open up Burning Shadows booster boxes chasing. This card is very hard to find in mint condition because Burning Shadows had such terrible print quality when it originally released. We think we have bad print quality now. XY Evolutions was rough. Burning Shadows was way worse. Burning Shadows was absolutely terrible. Probably one of the worst print quality sets that I've ever opened when it comes to Pokemon. There were issues all over the place. Charizard GX, the near mint price point, has really been gaining some steam over the past year. You can see in February of 2022, it was at a one-year low of $379.51. It's gained quite a bit over the past year, not only dollar-wise, but over 10%, or about 10% that it has gained overall. You can see it hit a high point just recently in January of 2023, where it jumped up to $424.08. This is just for a raw copy, PSA 10 copies, obviously going for much, much more, but sitting at $421.40 right now, but definitely heading in that upward trend. The next one that we're going to look at is Charizard VMAX. This is the Rainbow Rare from Champions Path that a lot of people were chasing. Not terrible pull rates when it comes to the Charizard VMAX. However, Champions Path products, when it comes to sealed form, really starting to get more and more expensive as supply starts drying up more and more, and a lot of people just kind of chasing that Charizard, right? But you can see really just kind of trended downward for the first half of 2022. In February of 2022, it was at a one-year high of about 250, 249.22. Started to kind of decline a little bit over a couple months, but then really hit a wall once May hit, and it dropped all the way down, continued to drop steep declines until July of 2022, where it kind of leveled out a little bit, and then in November hit a one-year low of 169.42. Now it's come back a little bit, but it's only gained about $20 back or so. It's sitting at 190.82, but still way closer to a one-year low than a one-year high. The Lugia GX has done extremely well, which is somewhat surprising, and I can kind of explain this dip right here that you see where in July 2022 it hit a low. So at the beginning of February of 2022, it was at a high of 153.38. So not a whole lot of variance here when it comes to dollars. However, there was some Lost Thunder build and battle boxes that kind of came out of nowhere, started getting found on a ship or found in a warehouse somewhere, and that really started increasing the supply of Lost Thunder packs that were available on the market. So Lugia GX started to get pulled a little bit more and then kind of sold on the market. And as that supply started to dry up around July, then it started to increase again, so starting to move in the upward direction again. Also, the release of Silver Tempest might have played a little bit of a factor on this. More Lugia fans starting to get back out there, more Lugia fans starting to develop because they pulled the alternate art and they wanted to find other Lugias, whatever the case may be. You can see starting to gain some steam. It hit that one-year low in July of 2022 of 140.31, started to gain a lot of that back, sitting at 150.10 currently, $150.10, so much closer to its one-year high than its one-year low. Then we've got the Reshiram and Charizard Rare GX. This is one of the tag team GXs, and this one's an outlier because this is one of the few tag team GXs that has not absolutely blown up in price when it comes to Rainbow Rares. We're going to look at a few other ones in just a minute here if you hold on tight. $164.99 was its one-year high, which it hit in February 2022, but really consistently has dropped across the board over the past year. You can see it's sitting at $141.05 currently. That is a one-year low for this card. Pikachu VMAX, so much hype behind Vivid Voltage. There was a lot of issues with Vivid Voltage being short printed, not necessarily short printed what Pokemon thought, but short printed compared to the demand that kind of came out of nowhere from all those influencers and from all those people starting to crack more and more packs. Because of that, Pikachu VMAX has really never gotten back to where it originally started. 191.61 was its one-year high, which it hit in February 22, really following that Reshizard path that we just kind of looked at, just kind of falling throughout the entirety of 2022. You can see in October of 2022, it hit a one-year low of 128.24. Much steeper drop when it comes to actual dollar-wise. It kind of leveled out at that point. It's sitting at 130.09 currently. The Mewtwo and Mew GX, this is a beautiful card from Unified Minds. This is one of my favorite Rainbow Rare cards. So like I said, there's a lot of Rainbow Rare cards that I like, that I focus on, and then a lot that I just don't necessarily care for. This Mewtwo and Mew GX, absolutely beautiful. Did a really good job of staying consistent throughout February, March, April, May, all the way up until July of 2022, then started to increase a little bit in price. In the back half of 2022, it increased over 20%. You can see it's sitting at $112.99 currently. That's just off of a one-year high, which it hit last month of $113.56. The Charizard and Braixen GX kind of doing the same thing as the Reshizard, right? Started out gaining a little bit of steam in 2022, made it all the way up until October where it hit a one-year high of 102.62, and then dropped 10% relatively quickly over the back half of the last few months of 2022. You can see it sitting at 92.56 currently, which is just off of its one-year low, which it hit in December of 2022 at 92.20. The Eevee and Snorlax, beautiful card from Team Up. Team Up packs getting super expensive, super hard to find. Team Up, one of the few sets that really just never got reprinted, never got recirculated. So all those Team Up cards continue to increase in price because demand is just there for such a beautiful set like Team Up. 62.63 was its one-year low, which it hit in May of 2022. Started an upward climb until it hit August, then kind of backed off a little bit in September, dropped back down to around that $65 mark, and then started to kind of increase again. So it's sitting at $75.49 currently, or $76.10 currently, which is a one-year high for that Eevee and Snorlax. The Gengar and Mimikyu, same thing, a beautiful card from Team Up, really doing extremely well. A lot of these tag team GXs, like I said, these Rainbow Rares really taking off, kind of like what we saw from a lot of those alternate art cards. You got to remember, while there was a lot of printing in the first half of Sun and Moon, the back half of X and Y kind of slowed off because demand wasn't necessarily there and didn't really start getting going again until Vivid Voltage happened. So Sword and Shield, Rebel Clash got reprints and a lot of additional product that kind of hit the market, but the back half, the second half of the Sun and Moon sets, not nearly as much demand as what there is now. So a lot of these cards, once collectors kind of got back into things, saw a lot of these cards and like, holy buckets, this is awesome, I really want this. For the first half of 2022, stayed really consistent, hit a one-year low in June of 2022 of 55.72. Then it gained about 30% over the back half of 2022. You can see it sitting at $70.33 currently. That's a one-year high for that card. The Mewtwo GX, beautiful card from Shining Legends. This got a lot of hype and didn't live up to the hype at all. You can see it hit a one-year high in July of 2022 at 72.83, but lost over 10% in December of 2022. It jumped all the way, or bounced all the way down to a one-year low of 64.73. Gained a couple bucks back, but sitting at 66.30 currently. The Blastoise GX, this one did really, really well from Unbroken Bonds and really just hasn't gotten back to the point that it was. It was over $100 at one point during the kind of boom of Pokemon, but you can see still trending in the upward direction until July of 2022, where it hit a one-year high of 94.52 and then really sank. You can see it fell all the way down to $63.66. So you're dropping almost 30% in the back half of 2022, where it hit a one-year low in December and then started to get a little bit back, but still sitting only at $66.30 right now. So relatively cheap for this Blastoise GX from Unbroken Bonds. The Pikachu and Zekrom GX, this one moving in the wrong direction as well, really following that Reshizard pattern. This one's from Team Up, so this is kind of an outlier as well. 87.60 was its one-year high, which it hit in February of 2022. Very consistently falling throughout the entire year. Dropped all the way down to $63.36, so that's about 30% that this Rainbow Rare lost over the past year. If we look at Suicune GX, kind of the same thing like what we saw with Lugia GX, except for that no rebound, no gain back when it comes to Lost Thunder. But like I said, there's a lot of Lost Thunder packs that are still out there because of all that supply that that kind of just popped up out of nowhere. 83.36 was a one-year high, which it hit in February of 2022. Really just tanked after that, and you can see all throughout 2022, just nothing but declines, decreases, all the way up until currently where it's sitting at a one-year low of $57.50. The Mimikyu GX from Lost Thunder has gained a little bit back, but still kind of following the same pattern as what we just looked at. $61.69 was its one-year high, which it hit in February of 2022. In October, it hit a one-year low of $47.98, gained a little bit back, sitting at $50.75 currently. The Sylveon GX from Guardians Rising has done very, very well. You can see kind of up and down patterns. Not a whole lot of difference when it comes to price points, but for the most part stay very consistent, which isn't bad for a set like Guardians Rising, which has lost a lot of luster over the past year. You can see it hit a one-year high currently of $48.58 that it recently hit, but if you look at its one-year low, not that much different from its one-year high. You're only looking at about a 5% differential over the past year. $46.70 is where it hit in June of 2022. The Lucario GX from Forbidden Light, this one has done fairly well. Lucario GX was a very good competitive card during its day, during its heyday. Gained a little bit of ground over the past year. You can see relatively flat for the first 9 months or so until it hit December of 2022 before it started taking off. Its one-year low it hit in May of $35.26. In December, it bumped all the way up to $46.68. So you're looking at about 40% growth over the past month and a half, sitting at a one-year high. Currently, the Greninja GX, another beautiful card from Forbidden Light. I really like this card as well. Greninja GX was a fun card. Greninja in general is a fun Pokemon. At the beginning of February 2022, it was at a one-year high of $47.71. It's only lost about 10% over the past year. You can see its one-year low of $41.55 it hit in December, sitting at $41.96 currently, so not a whole lot of differential there. The Reshiram and Zekrom, this is a really cool looking card. The full art version of this card is really cool. Cosmic Eclipse is a really fun set. In April of 2022, it was at a one-year low of $34.45. It gained about 25% over the past year. You can see it saw a little bit of a hiccup in December of 2022 before kind of blowing up again in price. It's sitting at $42.69 currently. That's a one-year high for that one. Blastoise and Piplup, a really cool Tag Team GX card. This one saw a one-year high in February of 2022 of $45.56. Dropped really hard in May, and then it's relatively consistent throughout the entirety of the past 9 months or so. $39.70 is where it's currently sitting, but in November, it did hit a one-year low of $37.54. And the last one that we're going to look at is the Gardevoir and Sylveon GX. A lot of these alternate art cards having their rainbow rare variants here. Gardevoir and Sylveon has done very well, jumped over 30% over the past year. In February of 2022, unlike a lot of these other cards that were at their highs, this one was actually at a low of $31.50. Saw some really good growth throughout the majority of 2022 up until about October, where it kind of leveled off. It hit a one-year high of $40.57, and it's sitting at $40.38 currently. So let me know what you think of Rainbow Rare cards. Personally, I like some of them. I think some of them are really cool, but also ultimately collect what you enjoy. What you should invest your money in is things that you enjoy, things that bring you joy. That's what's going to keep you in the hobby long term. It's fun to look at prices, and it's fun to look at numbers to kind of see where you're budgeting yourself and where you're spending your collection dollars, and trying to make sure that you don't make mistakes of buying cards when they're at their peak, or buying sealed when it's at its peak, because that's going to keep you in the game longer, because you don't want to make those mistakes. But if you focus on those numbers too much, it's good to step away a little bit and just enjoy the hobby, and remember what got you into the hobby at the beginning, to go with, you know, the beautiful artwork, the friendships, the competitive side of things. It's just a really fun game and a really fun hobby, and there's lots of wonderful people in it, such as you. If you enjoy the content, please hit that subscribe button down below, leave a like, leave a comment. It goes a really, really long way for the algorithm. I honestly really appreciate you guys, so thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me ramble. I will be back tomorrow with a stream, and then Tuesday with a video, and Thursday with a video, Friday with a video. We're going to hit 93,000 very soon, and then give away something else. I just got to figure out what it is. Until next time, guys, thank you so much for everything. Peace.